So we are back for season 3, episode 2, and last week we talked about pickling. There we go. We talked about pickling cucumbers. We talked making pickles. We talked about making beet jam, and today we're going to continue with that theme. How am I awake so early? This is not early. And I got some messages from people in the usual chat saying, hey, noon's great, noon's great. And then here it is, noon. Now, I know Liz is kind of busy today. She said she'll have me on, but I don't know if she can engage in the chat, which we like. You know, look at this. My hair is like perfectly white today. Monique, my other daughter, has issues with some electricity today. There was an accident near her home, and I guess it took out some power for the local people. So she's not on, but I'm glad Bruiser's here. And you know, the chat populates when people, I do it too. A stream will start, and you know, the waiting room is there, and I'll start going to different places, and then all of a sudden I look and it's 10 minutes past the stream and I've missed it. Hey, is that Mobile Reno? Mobile Reno is here, so maybe they got magic power. You're blocking my chat. Maybe sure, electricity issues. Yeah, no, Mobile Reno's here, so woohoo! Either they got lucky or she's on data, something like that. So last week we talked about pickles and beet jam, and that was delicious. And we're going to continue with that whole thing. Data. Ooh, okay, we'll go fast. We're going to go on the whole thing about preserving foods, and we're going to continue today by making some jelly out of pears that we stole from the neighbors. I'll explain the stealing part, and we're going to be going through some garlic and how to process garlic, how to grow it, what to use. You know, we all know how to use it, but how to use it in different unique ways. And we're going to be talking about a cookbook genre called community cookbooks. Very fun thing that you may know existed. I'm sure Bruiser, I know Mobile Reno knows it exists, but Bruiser, you may know what these cookbooks are like, and maybe didn't know the value of them, or maybe don't like them, but we're going to look at some of those today. But first, and this is only for one of you, because Mobile Reno is ineligible to win this, but people will be watching this as a repeat. So we are going to talk about the Root Awakening giveaway for 2022. Yes, we did briefly discuss this at Playdate, the whole idea of a community cookbook. And you know what they are, but you didn't know that maybe that they were called this and that it was an extreme genre that it is. So we are going to be discussing different types of them today. But there's a giveaway for 2022. Last season we gave away a KitchenAid stand-up mixer, and Mr. Marquis won that. But this season we are going to be giving away a Ninja, I think Ninja, but we're going to be giving away a 4 to 5 quart air fryer. And why I am so ambivalent about it, I like the Ninja. There it is. But I'm going to be giveaway air horn. Yes, why don't we have the air horn sound like Speakeasy does? We need it. Now he's going to go and he's going to get it all mixed up. Okay, so I'm being sort of open about the air fryer because I'm going to watch. The draw is on December 18th. It's a birthday giveaway, and I'm going to be watching for the best air fryer for the best price. And then whoever wins it, I'm just going to send it directly to their house. So how are you eligible to win it? You've already, yay, 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 Lizzie's here. So to win this 2022 giveaway air fryer, you have to do what you're doing. You're here on the stream. You have to engage in my Instagram. You have to answer some fun questions. Your hair looks so awesome. Well, thanks. I cut my own bangs, and I'm not sure why, but today is one of those days it decides to be silver. Tomorrow it could be gold. Who knows? We're going to have this giveaway. So you have to just engage with my social media posts, engage with this stream, do all the fun things. My producer is keeping track of this. We do need an air horn sound. Bruiser has brought that to our attention, so we need some kind of woot woot sound. Wait, going away.
No, you're not going away.
Okay, the bangs, well, you know, I just sometimes grab my scissors and start. And so, not gonna lie, I use my air fryer like almost everything. I don't. I know that Liz does, and I know that Mobo Reno does. I don't tend to, and I don't know why. I mean, honestly, I love it because during COVID, I would crave things like restaurant style French fries. And you know, no restaurants are open. So that's where the air fryer came into my kitchen because I won't deep fry. And then I started making these French fries. I've never used it for anything else, but I know that so many people use it. Woo! Speakeasy, thank you for the subscription. 10 months. You might be my longest subscriber. That's so nice. Thank you. So anyway, let's talk about the pears. A neighbor of mine, a couple doors down, has this tree full, laden with pears. And he is an elderly type of dude. And every year he tells me, oh, I've got so many pears on that tree. And they're so sour. They're so, but I think I just need to spray it. You know what? I don't have, he's got the stream deck going, and I don't have my video up. And I've just discovered that I can't even speak or stream without that video up. So anyway, this guy tells me about his pear tree, and all it needs to be is sprayed. So a couple years back, he asked me if I wanted to take some. He said, come over and tell me what you think. And I bit into one, and I, you know, I'm even now like reliving that. Yes, sure. All right, so I bit into one, and it was so astringent. And I don't use the word sour, I use the word astringent because I bit into this pear and it actually drew the moisture out of my mouth, and it became like this dry thing. And I said, oh, this isn't a Bartlett, this isn't an edible sweet pear, this is a variety of pears called Perry pears. And he didn't know what it was, and he just didn't believe me. He thinks that if you just keep waiting and he does a little bit more spraying on it, it's going to be the right kind of pear. He wants to make a Bartlett pear out of this tree. It isn't. What you do, it's a type of pear that you ferment, and maybe Bruiser, you know this type of pear. You ferment it and you make a perry. You make a dry wine. But I have discovered that you can still render the juice from them. You can sweeten it, and you can make a really nice jelly that's to be used on a charcuterie tray or oh yes, stolen produce. Who is it?
Smile Times.
Hey, Smile Times, welcome. I don't think you've been on my stream before, but welcome. And I'm hoping you're not a farmer, because if you are, you're like, okay, what's with the stolen produce? So every year, this tree just gets laden with these heavy pears, and when you listen even 2 doors down, you can hear them thud, and they hit the ground, and they're just full of juice. What kind of juice? Not drinkable, not edible.
Not a farmer.
Not a farmer. Okay, well, welcome to the stream, and maybe, I don't know who you are, but welcome here.
Maybe
So,
Jane.
no, I don't think so. So I take these pears, and why I call them stolen is because, you know, he says come and take them, but then, I don't know, I just walk onto his property and I fill a kettle of them and I bring them back, and I don't know if he says I can still have them because I dissed them at one point. Anyway, I got about 10 pounds, so it's like a kettle, and you'll see my kettle over here. It's a jam kettle, a stock pot. I took about 10 pounds of them, I cut them up, and we started using them. Now, these pears go back to the 17th century. They were discovered, or they were planted during the 9-year war between the French and the British, and the Normans brought them with them, planted them on their new estates in the UK, and started to ferment them because they know what they were. Casually borrowing 10 pounds of pears. But they're going to rot, and the other wasps around them. So the Normans brought them, planted them, started fermenting them, and that was their alcoholic beverage. And it's like a champagne because it's fizzy, it's got bubbles in it, and they then had, just like Niagara on the Lake and Pelee Island and all of these wineries, then there started to be sections in the UK that became known for perry. I don't and how to pronounce those places because they've got that shire at the end, and I always say it wrong, so I didn't bring it to my stream. But this perry is as important to the British as fish and chips. So we are going to be, we picked a peck of perry pears, and we are going to be making, rendering a jam and making a jelly today, rendering juice and making a jelly. First though, we're going to get to our drink o'clock. So I am going to remove my, did you think I shrunk? But I'm just going to remove my little bench. And let's make a drink. So today we are making a ginger bourbon pear drink. So we're bringing all of the things that we're talking about into it. So that's not the recipe we have, right?
No.
Okay, so we, first of all, we're going to put, I've got my shaker with some ice. Where's Alberta Premium? She's always here, and I always like the drink o'clock where Alberta is. We're going to put the bourbon in it. So we're going to make them a little bit okay today, since I tasted this yesterday, and they're quite tasty. Woo! Took the cork off faster than, oh, we spilled the drink before we even had the drink. So I'm going to put a good amount of bourbon in it, so it should be
Thanks. Sometimes.
Your kitchen is spectacular. Oh, well, thank you. It suits what I'm doing.
She's dry.
And she's dry. No, I'm not. So, Bruiser, this little cap that's on the top of my shaker, is that a shot? Because it looks big. I'm going to do it, though. Bourbon in the morning. Oh, yeah. And she's drunk. No, I'm not. Just a little bit more. You know what? Look.
Don't.
No, that's a little bit much. We won't do that. We won't do that. So, smile times. Are you a Torontonian? I don't want to dox you, but can you tell me a little bit where you're from? Like, are you from my area? We're going to put in 2 ounces of pear juice. I put some ice in it only because I didn't want it warm. We're going to put a couple shots of pear juice. Of course, all the ice comes out. That's okay. So there's our pear connection for the day. And then yesterday I made a honey syrup with some ginger. Winnipeg, woo! And I'm getting lots of ideas from yours. Well, listen, I'm glad you're here. And the kitchen is, you can see that I've got this island like this. It works for a one cook kind of house. If you are going to be sharing your cooking with somebody else, you might want to make the island bigger. This whole island and kitchen was designed with the stream in mind. We're going to then put in a little bit of this 1 ounce of this ginger syrup. It's made 1-to-1 honey and water, and then I've got the ginger infused in it. So we're going to put 1 shot of that. We're going to put some lemon juice in this drink. I don't know, a little cash today. When there's not a lot of people on the stream, you tend to get just a little bit chilled out. I'm going to put some lemon in this drink. Just a little bit of juice. I have to put the juice of half a lemon. Whoa. Wow.
Spilly today.
Spilly.
Elegante, Bruiser says.
Okay. And I am going to put a little bit of ginger. I like ginger right in the glass as well. Anything pear and ginger is always elegante. I'm making, I don't want to do it on there, I'm making a soup tomorrow, which is pears. For my course, I have to make a compound soup, a potage. So tomorrow I am going to put sweet potatoes, pears, and ginger. What do you think of that? I think that's going to be really nice. So I'm just putting a slice of ginger right into the drink, and then we're going to give this a shake. Yeah, I really like pears, ginger. The pears today, this juice, Tom thought yesterday he'd have a drink of it after it was rendered. It's really astringent, even just the juice. Let's give that a shake. that we're going to top it off with some ginger ale, not soda water. It won't be good. So about 3/4 of the cocktail, and then we'll top it up with some ginger ale. Somebody tells me this looks a little strong. All right, let's give this a little bit of a, ginger with some carbonation is always delicious. Okay, cheers. Cheers. Let's see what it's like. Delicious, even better than yesterday's vibe. So let's clean this up. And we're going to go on to our first dish. And today we're going to be making the jelly. So I should turn this up. It is starting to... This is the syrup. So yesterday we cored and we peeled the 10 pounds. And we boiled and rendered the pears. I can't do that on the stream. It was a little bit too much. Too much ginger. I just bought a giant chunk to toss in my curry. Ooh, delicious. You know though, the ginger is fresh. And once you cut into the ginger root, and then it starts to dry out. I don't know if anybody knows a way of keeping it really moist. Oh, there's that word. Or like really fresh. But when it dries out, it's almost useless. Moist, there's the word. So I rendered the pears down. Like I said, take the the core and the stem off, cut them in chunks, put them in enough water to cover it. I put in a cinnamon stick and a couple of whole cloves because I knew what I was using it for. I'm going to use it for a jelly. If you're using it for perry, you're actually, just great what you need. A frozen, that's a good idea. Thanks for that. And if you're going to ferment this, first time chat. Is that Matt? No, it is not. Welcome. Couldn't put it in oil. No, I don't think so. Oil, I don't think that would work, but welcome. First time chat. Great. So, we rendered it. I have a little video because what I did instead is I showed you how to render it. Now what you do when you render it, you're going to squeeze it through a jelly bag or a cloth, whatever, some kind of straining cloth. The key is, and I'll say it in the video as well, is not to squeeze or not to twist the top when you're rendering the pulp and extracting the juice, because you'll end up with a bitter and pulpy syrup or juice, and you don't want that. Here's what I ended up with. You can see it's a little cloudy, but when we add the sugar, and this is starting to boil, so I'll turn it down. When we add the sugar to this, it clarifies, and when you cook it, it clarifies. Right now, I want to show you the video of how I rendered the pears down into the juice. This is the pears that have been stewing in this water with some spices for about an hour, and now I'm going to put it into this straining cloth. And this is like a jelly bag, but it's a jelly cloth. It's going to separate the pulp from the juice, and you can't do this in an ordinary strainer because you'll still get too much of the pulp. So I'm going to start pouring it into the cloth, but I have to be careful that my cloth doesn't collapse. Now I'll show you something I got that I think would be the ticket. So I'm going to clamp that in a few places. There. Now I probably have a more secure cloth. So I'm going to strain that in. You'll see some cinnamon stick in there, and there's some cloves. All right, now this has to be lifted out. What you don't want to do is you don't want to squeeze the bag. If you squeeze the bag, you're going to get too much viscous pulp, and you're going to get a bitter taste. So it's a little bit patience. See what I've got inside the pot? A nice dark berry pear juice. And so you just hold it, just don't squeeze. What I have to have is I need 5 cups of juice, and I think I have that. So this was about 10 pounds of pears to render into about 5 cups of juice. Okay. All right, so you saw me rendering it. Yes, cloves and pears, delicious combination. So when you get the juice from the pulp like that, I discard the pulp. What I have, and we're going to go over to the other camera, I have a kettle with 5 cups of the rendered juice. And the recipe is going to come up. I think that's the recipe we have. So what I'm making is a jelly. To this juice, you have to add 7.5 cups. So there's 5 cups prepared juice that's cooking, 7.5 cups of sugar, which I pre-measured out. That sounds like a lot. Oh yeah, it's like more sugar than juice. So let's dissolve a little bit before we add it all in. 7.5 cups. Now it's making it palatable. Before that juice was a little bit unpalatable, a little bit too sour and astringent. 7.5 cups of sugar. Yeah, I know. We're making it a jelly. We're not making a fermented perry. I didn't even bring that recipe up. I didn't come across it actually. I don't know how to ferment
Questions here?
a juice, so I can look that up too. I was doing dishes and didn't hear if you said, what's that? We know where the pears are stolen from? Yes, we do. 2 doors down, my neighbor has a tree, and he's the neighbor that when I go away, he wanders my yard, so I'm really not quite sure, and he doesn't realize my security cameras pick him up. And when I go away, he wanders the yard, so there's like this little bit of
This guy here.
Oh, this guy, yes, I think he could maybe possibly be a candidate for a cringe.
Go back to this smile time.
On the cringe chart.
Here.
Okay, wow, he never made jelly before. Is that sugar juice ratio the norm? It is the norm, yes. If you've never made it, it is the norm. So let's say you've got crab apples and you render the juice from that. 7.5 cups of sugar to 5 cups of prepared juice. Jelly, grape jelly would be the same thing. So you've got this camera on right now, so I'm going to show you. We just got a new angle that I don't have to use the camera over on the hot plate because the hot plate just doesn't give me a consistent heat. I'm going to turn this up a bit. You can see it has changed. It's a little bit more viscous and it's clarifying. The sugar has helped the juice to clarify.
Can you use brown sugar?
Don't use brown sugar. It doesn't have this same consistency when melted as white sugar. It won't work. And anyway, the white sugar won't change the color. Come on, induction. I know, love the induction. So I'm going to put, it's a couple tablespoons of lemon juice. You have to add an acid. And I choose lemon juice because it'll cut some of that sugar. It'll make the flavor a little brighter. A couple tablespoons, I'm going to do the whole lemon. I'm not measuring it because it's not imperative. It's imperative if you've got too little, but too much is okay. All right, I have to bring this back to a boil. And how jelly works is you put the fruit juice and the sugar, and then you boil it. You bring it to a rolling boil for 1 minute, and that's what we're going to look at right now. So let's look and see. Let's just check out my chat. Oh yeah, this guy. I've seen the clips. Yeah, that's right. So I don't know what it is. I might be one of the younger people in my neighborhood, and I think they're curious. I know, what a rebel not measuring the lemon. I think they're curious about me, so they wander my yard while I'm away. And I didn't know that until I installed 7 security cameras. Oh my goodness, look who's here. Drawing a Blank streamer has graced my stream. We have a special guest to show Matt. Matt is from Speakeasy. He's got a stream on Wednesday afternoons. Hello, dears. Hello, Matt. And he has a stream about 12:30 on Speakeasy TV called Drawing a Blank. Wonderful artist, tattoo artist at Speakeasy Tattoo. But we have a guest to show him, and we made this especially for him today.
This sneaky?
Yeah. Yeah. So this is one of Matt's really good friends, and we saw this wonderful picture while Matt was here today, during the summer, and Matt was freaked out by it. And you know, like now that's become it's become sort of the mascot for the stream, because Matt was freaked out by that. What the heck? You're in the lake and you see this coming at you. Cheers. This bourbon pear drink really suits me. It really does. So we're trying to get this come back to a boil. We're going to boil it for 1 minute. You can't rush it. You can. You are so terrible to me. You know, so many people were freaked out by that snake. And oh yes, you're in the middle of the lake and this thing is there. And I don't know. Did it make a noise, Matt? Did it freak you out? I would have gone hysterical. I left and I had come back. I don't think so. They are functionally very different. What? Oh, I'm answering something. Sorry, Brizzer.
Oh, the low-calorie sweetener.
Oh yeah, the low-calorie sweetener, you can't do it either, because you're working with pectin, and pectin reacts with sugar. Some things like crabapple has a lot of pectin. Pears have some pectin as well, similar to apples. The peri pear though is so astringent that I think you have to sweeten it. And you can't make jelly out of artificial sweeteners. You can't make it out of brown sugar. Granulated white sugar. You know, some people have made it with honey. It completely changes, and I don't think it responds with the pectin. So today we're going to be. Oh no, Matt says this snake definitely made a noise. Oh, how many comments and shares? I posted that snake just out of curiosity, saying to people in this area, hey, this snake is in our lakes. If you're going in this, you know, if you've got a problem with snakes, you might want to watch this. And holy cow, I think what was it? Hundreds. Like I think it got over 500 likes and about 300 shares, and I just kept getting notifications. I shut those off, and then at one point I just stopped it. I just removed it because
you hit a nerve.
I really hit a nerve with the local people. And then I got, oh, she's lying. This is a picture from like a National Geographic. Then I got the whole Facebook judgmental people popping out at me. Yeah, honey is fairly acidic. Would it work? I don't know. I just don't play with jelly and jam because I don't want to waste product. But I don't know. If you're making just a syrup, perhaps? Okay, this is coming back to a boil. And I meant to bring my timer up here. Somebody who's got a timer, but there's a lag, so it has to be exactly. Okay, we've got a good boil if you want to bring the camera to show you there. Yeah, so we had so many shares and likes on that snake that I removed it because I was afraid that I was creating some sort of panic in this area and that nobody was ever going to use the lakes. And then it was so ridiculous. I thought I was going to affect tourism. So I took it down. But, you know, Matt and I always know that snake exists. And then last time I went over to that area of the lake, I was walking slowly and tentatively and looking at the ground, and someone yelled at me, "Don't worry, he's not going to come and get you." And who? The snake that you're afraid of. He's not going to hurt anybody anymore. Yeah, what do you mean? What do you mean? Did you kill it? And so I think they killed it. Yeah, somebody said, yeah, I got him in half. I don't know. I don't want to be responsible for the demise of this creature, but I think it's dead. Okay, so we've got some good boiling over here. Check it out, check it out. I'm going to go a little bit past my timer.
Oh. for boiling.
That's it. You let it boil for a minute. And this is why the sugar becomes important, because you have created a temperature where it's going to turn into jelly. But it's not enough yet. All right, let's remove it from the heat. We bring it over here. I've learned from my mistakes that I don't put it around the plastic board. And we're using this today. I don't know where this, we're using this. It's called pectin. You can get Bernardin pectin, you can get other types of pectin depending on where you're from. I've used this just about my entire life. You can cook jams and jellies without pectin like this. It's not an artificial product. It is extracted from apples. And then you add the entire package. Right, so I'm adding the entire package of this, and I really hesitate to show people how to make jelly because it's so easy that people are going to realize there's my magic, there's my mojo. Now, this is, the pectin is in here. It smells divine. If you tasted that juice, remember this is the juice we had before. This is it, and now look at how it's changed in color because we've added the sugar and the pectin. Now I have to stir this for 5 minutes. And that is too, because you saw how thick and gelatinous the pectin was. Wow! I've got a raid with Party of 14. Yes, who is this? Thistle and Oak. I am surprised at this. Yay! Welcome, Thistle and Oak. Thank you. Welcome, welcome with your Party of 14. Woohoo! Raid alert. How thrilling. You are right in time for the excitement on a Sunday morning of making pear jelly. So we're cooking up a storm, and we appreciate you raiding us. I don't know where you came from. I don't know what you've been doing. Raid, yes, thank you.
Do I have to do something?
No. So tell me where you're coming from. What have you been doing over there with your 14? What were you're gaming Sunday morning? I don't know, yummy pear jelly. First shot, woo! Yay! Welcome to my stream. This is Rude Awakening TV, and we cook every Sunday at noon, as you have found us. And this year we're doing a lot of vintage cooking. You can see my age. Vintage comes naturally to me. But today we made a really nice drink. We're going to be playing a game too. Stick around for the game. We are going to be playing Name That Tool. Don't cue the music. And right now though, we're making this jelly, and I have to stir it for 5 minutes. Why do I stir it? Let's say that this was a strawberry jam. We are in Nashville. Yoo-hoo! We made a burger from Bob's Burgers. Oh, it's a cooking stream. Baby, you can chop my car. Wow, that must have been delicious.
Say hi to all these people, too many.
Well, welcome to my stream, and we do vintage things. We sometimes don't. Sometimes we do some pretty whack things. We have a strong gay community that listens to us, and there's pride all over our stream. We are thrilled to have you. We're thrilled to have our regular chatters here. This pear jelly was made from a neighbor's pear tree, and he doesn't understand that his pears are an inedible variety called Perry pears. So Perry pear is only used to be fermented. It's an astringent pear, and you don't eat it like a Bartlett. If you're familiar with that, let me tell you, Wonder Boy, I've got this issue with reading off my chat. Let me tell you that not all pears are created equal, apparently. They are not, Bruiser. So if you bite into a pear, and I've never seen these pears before, his tree, but if you bite into this pear, it is so dry that it gags you. And what people do, I can see this is turning into a nice jelly. What people do with this is they ferment it and they make a perry, a wine. But what I've discovered is that I can make a clear perry jelly, just like you'd make a wine jelly. I've got 5 cups of prepared juice, and I've got 7.5 cups of sugar, a couple tablespoons of lemon juice, You boil that after I rendered it, and I showed a video of it rendering. You render the juice from the pears, and if this is a cooking stream, some of you may be quite familiar with that process. I cooled the jelly, the juice, and then I'm making jelly. You boil the juice, the sugar, the lemon juice for a minute, and then I added in 1 pouch of Cerdo. Now Nashville, I'm not sure if this is an American product. You probably are familiar with Sure Gel. And then you just stir it for about 5 minutes, and then I'm going to put it into some sterilized jars. What do you use it for? Well, let's chat. Bruiser is a professional chef, and I think that Smile is a chef as well, and definitely a cook. What do you use wine jelly for?
Sheep milk?
Oh, yeah, that would be nice. Now, I do put a little bit of cloves and cinnamon. I think parm nuggets. What? That sounds good. Oh, nice. Hello. Yes. I don't know. We have discovered that it's really good on sausages, like a nice grilled sausage. It's good on grilled pork. It's good on like pork loin. Wine jelly just lends itself to any kind of grilled meats. Okay, so I've got a really nice, and you've watched me do this, I've got a really nice jelly going here. I think the Certo is really combined, equally distributed, and I'm going to start jarring it. So we're going to put the jelly over here, and we're going to start putting it into some jars. I've got weck jars. To tell you the truth, I have a lot of this. Where do you live out of the States? Yes, we're in Ontario, Canada. I'm in Northern Ontario, very close to Toronto. I have been to Nashville. It's a fun city to visit as a tourist. And so I'm going to put it into this weck jar. Do I have to sterilize the jar? These jars are clean, naturally, but who is Bobcaygeon? Who or where? Yeah, we're streaming from Bobcaygeon. So Bobcaygeon is a little town about 50 minutes north of Toronto. So you can see this jelly is already starting to form a gel. The camera's over here. However, I'm trying to not make a mess. Yeah, let's just keep it like that. So I'm going to put it into a couple weck jars that are just sealed with a rubber gasket and with big scary snakes. Well, Matt, you say the word snakes and we're on it. So I am going to sponge too. I don't like to have the sticky. Great. Jar this. I have a lot. I've made this last year. We do weck. Yes, I do have some in the pantry, and it's enough that I don't want to make more for our pantry. So I just wanted to show you that every year these pears grow, and every year I feel compelled to use food that is growing.
Steal them.
Steal food. You know, stealing is a very, very large word here, because this is an elderly gentleman who just doesn't even know sometimes what day it is, and he wanders the neighborhood, and so he sometimes says, hey, help yourself to my pears, and sometimes he looks at you and barks. You're never quite sure what his mood is going to be, and so I go over there and take them because he once offered. He doesn't re-offered, but you see all this fruit landing. Now I do take him some of this jelly. He loves it. And every year he says, where'd that come from? And I have to tell him that it came from his trees, and he's thrilled that his product is being used.
Matt, like the blueberry jam?
Matt, I did send you some blueberry jelly. Was it jelly or jam? Probably a jam.
This is jam.
Yeah. And jam and jellies are easy to make. If you're a cook here, it's easy to make. So I put a couple jarfuls. I put it on the table when we're having grilled meats. You can use this as, hey, you know what? I'm doing a pork loin tomorrow. Simmering this in a pork loin would be nice. What do you think, Bruiser? If you told you, but that blueberry jam you made was amazing. I'm glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. So I'm going to put these over here. I'm going to do something awful. I'm going to get rid of this pear juice. Don't need it. I used it to explain to you. Look at that. It even makes a film on the glass. It's so astringent. Tom yesterday thought, oh, give me a glass of that. I'm going to try it. It's not even palatable. Brush this as a glaze on that pork loin, baby. Make it glisten. I think so, and it's going to char a bit. Isn't that going to be nice? So here's what I'm doing. I'm just putting this into an open bowl. And you can see, look at it starting. There must be a lot of pectin in this.
It's gelling already.
I'm going to try it. Delicious. You would not know. You would not know how sour those were. What a great way to use that pear juice. So look at how much I got on the 2 weck jars. This will be great for a week of cooking with, sweetening with. And so I'm going to put that aside. So we've got these 2 jars that I can put into the fridge. You can't seal these onto a pantry, and we can use those at some point in the winter because they'll last a long time. All right, we're going to clean up our area a bit, and we're going to play our game. Now let me go before we play the game. We are going to have a giveaway, and if you're not a regular follow, because even if you are from the United States, you can receive this gift as well. Oh, another new follower, wonderful. So here's what's happening on my stream every year. What about a coffee cake glaze of sorts? Oh my God, what about a pear crisp? And you drizzle it on top across the pear crisp, or a pear cake, like a really mild cake. So many uses for this. I know you want some of this, Bruiser. I'm going to bring some to you when I think we're coming for Thanksgiving to Toronto. I'm bringing you some of this, or Danish. It keeps getting better. So this is our pear bourbon drink. Delicious. My stream has a big giveaway every year. Last year we gave a KitchenAid mixer away. This year it is a Ninja air fryer. Thinking Ninja, it's going to be an air fryer. You can win it anywhere. You can win it in Canada, the United States, it doesn't matter. It will get shipped directly to your house. What do you have to do? You have to join in on the stream. So today you have been entered into this automatically, and you have to engage with my social media. So look up Rude Awakening TV on Instagram. You can follow me. Facebook, not so much. I don't use it very much. And on Twitch, and you're here. So you've been entered into this giveaway. Also, Name That Tool is a regular feature on our stream. And today, we're going to play Name That Tool.
Okay.
All right. What could it possibly be? So the chat looks like it has stalled for me. Anyway, what could this possibly be? It has a bottom thing at the here. It says close and open, and you screw it open. So I want you to look at this carefully. Name that tool in my kitchen.
Corn shucker.
Pay no attention to Bruiser. So it has a plunger, it has a blade, and there's prongs. What do you do with all of this? What do you do? Plunge it. That's the blade inside. And here is where there's a little bit of a gougy thing here where something gets pushed onto it.
Yellow's the hint.
And then you can release whatever product, pineapple curry. No, it's a good one though. And then you can release whatever product you just removed from something, and you've got it. What could it possibly be? I do think we have to give this, Matt, where are you? You could have got this. I do believe we have to give this one to Bruiser. So it is actually a corn niblet remover. you put the cob in there, you push it down, and it's going to push the cob out, and all the niblets come out. And then when you open it, boom, you've got corn niblets to freeze. It's a really useful tool. It is exactly that. It's to remove the niblets off of the cob of corn. I don't know what it's called. I'm going to get the box. Now, it is called a deluxe corn stripper. Hey, I like that as a drag name. It's a stripper. And I use it once a year. Nailed it. I use it once a year. I use it in the fall. I keep it, you can see, I keep it really safe. Bruiser, for an extra entry into that contest, how much would I pay for this? How much would I pay for, where's the price? The price is still on it. For this, can we strip some corn, or is that rated R? I don't have any corn to strip. This one, this tool makes it living stripping. Don't judge. The value of this is, name, what's that? Price is Right, name it. $24.99. Matt, are you still here? Why is Bruiser running this show? Don't judge.
He's the only one.
$24.99? No, Bruiser, I would pay $35.99. Show of hands, do we give it to him? Do we give it to Bruiser?
Yeah, okay.
Bruiser, you've been entered because you showed up today, you named the tool, and you got close enough. So you've got 3 entries. I was just in the shower. Matt, you missed this corn stripper's debut. Inflation. Oh, well, it was bought at a little kitchen store here in Bobcaygeon, so, you know, maybe that's why I paid a lot for it. But it is a good tool, and it's not just a crappy stripper. It is a really good sharp blade, so you're not pushing too hard, and you're not, you know, destroying. Welcome to the stage, corn stripper. You're not destroying the niblet. You're getting a really good product. Now, we need to go on because we're running out of time, but we can stay a little bit longer. What I'm doing now is talking to you about garlic. So as we approach October, we think about planting garlic, because once the ground cools, once the temperature goes down, we start to plant the garlic. You plant a clove in the ground, and you're going to get a bulb of garlic in the summer. So yesterday I continued to process the garlic that I've grown, and I roasted 6 bulbs of garlic, and today they're cooled, and I'm going to show you a little trick I do with this. I extract the garlic from it and I make dollops. Now perhaps Bruiser does this. Cooks do this because you don't want to be always roasting. Sometimes it's the smallest part of your recipe, and you don't want to always be doing that. So I have these cooled heads of garlic, bulbs of garlic that have been roasted with olive oil, rosemary, and thyme yesterday. And what I do is I extract it. Now, it looks like a pimple popper. I'll need this camera, I think. But what I do is yeah, it looks nasty. You can do it by hand and just squeeze it out. I find that I get a better quality this way. A better amount, I should say. More efficient extraction. So I'm taking out all the roasted garlic that I possibly, my hands smell like garlic after, and what I'm left with is this empty husk. I could use this in a broth. In fact, I'm roasting a blade roast today. Look what I got from one head of garlic, one bulb. I'm roasting a blade roast today. I'm going to put this in the bottom of the pot, and I'll get a lot of nice roasted flavor. I don't waste. Because I hate processing garlic. Fermented garlic flowers from Farm Boy. That sounds nice. Well, I'll tell you what I do. So you see me extracting, and I'm going to extract all of this. What I do, I'm going to remove that rosemary, is I extract like this. I mix it into, I mix it into a puree, and then I make dollops on a piece of parchment paper, and I put that in the freezer, and then I've got you know, like a little disc of a dollop is the word of garlic, pureed garlic, and then I use that in mashed potatoes, I use it in vegetables, I use it in butters, whatever I want roasted garlic flavor, and I don't have to go through this. This is like a ready-made product that I've made myself, and I don't trust garlic that has come in oil because, as you know, that is a really key way for botulism to form. All right, I'm going to continue doing this now. I grew garlic all summer. I picked the scapes. I harvested the garlic. I dried it, and it was hanging all summer. It dried, and then I processed that, and I made some other things with it, some scape butter. I'm going to show you now. This is in the summer, long time ago. So I'm going to show you what that video looks like of my garlic journey. Today we're going into the garden and we're going to be clipping garlic scapes. So you see, this is garlic. I planted it last fall. It grew all winter, and in the spring it started to come up quite a bit. And what we're looking for today is this garlic scape. So if you leave the garlic scape on, it's going to go to flower. That's going to send a message to the plant to quit sending energy to the garlic bulb and start sending it to the flower. So we want to take these garlic scapes off so that they don't bloom right there. So this is an edible product. We're going to go right down to the bottom and remove them wherever you see one. Garlic scapes can be used in a variety of dishes. You can use them similar to how you would use a scallion. So today I'm taking this off. Later I'm going to show you, I'm going to make a butter using this. I want to get each one. We're going to process the scapes in a food processor until they're broken right down. Oh, I want to get the very bottom of it. And then we're going to add 1 cup of the broken down scapes to 1 cup of butter, some salt, and some lemon juice, and we'll keep that on hand. You can use it as a garlic butter or as a sauté start. So just going to each one. This one, you want to take those off so you can see what I'm getting in here. You can buy, if you know, not everybody grows garlic, you can buy these at the farmer's market. It's a byproduct that is usable, and farmers want to sell it. It's delicious, and they want it off their garlic so that we get some rich, delicious bulbs at the bottom. Okay, I may have not taken these off low enough. I'm just going to go and get that little bit. Oops, lost it. Okay, here's one. I didn't grow a lot of garlic. I grew it just enough for some use and for some experience with growing garlic. So I think let's just go through each one. Each one grew a scape. This one is starting to be one. I'm going to take it off today because I'm there. Now, do we see any more? So you got to be careful. Around the edge of the garden is onions, so we don't want to take those off. And that's it. That's all of my scapes. So let's look in this bucket and we'll see what we have. We don't want the garlic blades of growth, we just want the scape. So what I'm going to do is you chop this down into 1 cup, and then we're going to go back into the house and I'm going to make garlic butter with this. Today is the day that we actually harvest the garlic. So you saw what I did in the beginning. I took a clove of garlic way back in October. I planted it into that soil, about maybe 15 heads. 1 clove will grow an entire plant. You let it grow through the winter. Last video I showed you how we cut the scapes off, and taking the scapes off allows the energy to go into the cloves and into the bulb and to send the message to keep growing. But today you see how we have at least half the plant is dead, and that means it's ready to take it out. It doesn't mean it's ready to use. So I'm going to show you. Go a little distance. You don't want to slice the head or the bulb. And this is what we have. So you can see it's a small one. It's a hard neck, and by that you mean that you can't bend this. They're the easiest to grow, and they they keep the nicest over the winter. So you'll see another one. Don't shake that dirt off. We're going to let the dirt dry. Whoops, I may have gone into the bulb. Look at that one. That's nice. This was a variety of, here's all of the garlic out of the garden. Yesterday I did from here over, and these were in a dry spot, actually in that little greenhouse overnight for the storm. So you can see that they've started to, the parchment-like coating skin on it is starting to dry. Remember, I didn't take any of the mud off. Leave the mud on and let it dry naturally. And then this is what I just cut today. And you can see they're wet, they're moist, and that's going to take another day for that dirt to dry up like these. So this is about 22 heads, bulbs of garlic, and that means that I planted 22 cloves because each bulb has come from 1 clove of garlic. So you can see I've left on the roots, let that all dry. This one grew very unusually crooked. It's still good. So the thing is, you want these to be in a dry spot. And you can even do this on a balcony. You can do this in a very small backyard. You just need to plant them anywhere in the dirt in the fall. They will come up on their own, and you'll produce, even if you produced 5 bulbs of garlic. It's something fun. They're so hardy and so easy to grow. And then you would have some fresh garlic. You can use it right now today if you'd like to, but it needs to intensify. It needs to get a little bit more of a condensed flavor, and that'll come with the drying. You could use it today. It'll taste just like the scapes. So what I'm going to do is, right now, I am going to start braiding these, and by that, I take 3 of them, I start to braid, and then I add one in, so that's when you get that long strip. They will dry, they will hang in a cool, dark place, and in about 4 to 5 weeks, maybe even 6 weeks, I'll take them out, and then they will be dried completely, cured, and ready to use. So there's my garlic haul for the summer. Thanks for watching that. So I've done lots of things with that garlic. So 5 of those bulbs, the last 5 that I had ready to use, I just, the roasting part, and I just put these dollops, and I think you would enjoy this. This is pure roasted garlic with a little bit of olive oil, rosemary, and thyme. So you'll see that I have made, the overhead please, you'll see that I have some bigger ones and some smaller ones, because you never know what size you want. I put this right into the freezer, and when they're frozen, I transfer them to a freezer bag, and then I have roasted garlic ready to use whenever I want it. Even if it's to toss it into some mashed potatoes to make garlic mashed. It's delicious, it's easy, and it's ready-made. So this goes into the freezer when the stream is done, and I will store those. Also, a compound butter. Bruiser, I'm sure this isn't new to you as to how to make a compound butter. I took the scapes that you saw me cut, and I made a compound butter. A short video, watch this. Hi everybody. Yesterday I went to my garden and I snipped all of the scapes off of my growing garlic. And you'll see why. I have that video. So when you have scapes coming up from the garlic, they will, this is growing up through the garlic, they will bloom. And they'll bloom into a beautiful purple flower. But what that does is it sends a message to the bulb to quit growing and to produce the energy going to the flower. We don't want that. And these are edible products. So I took these off of the garlic plant, and now I'm going, it is a product that it can be very usable. You can use it in a stir fry. You can use it in an omelet. And they give you that nice half scallion, half scape garlic scent. So what I'm going to do today though is I'm going to make a scape butter, and that way I can roll it I can freeze it. And then when I want to do something where I'm needing a stir-fry base of garlic and butter, I just cut off one disc and I can use it like that. So let's get started. So these escapes were picked yesterday, and they have been washed and let dry. You don't want water on this because you're going to be mixing it with butter. I'm going to put it in the food processor, but I'm going to chop it up a bit just to make it a little easier. You can find these, if you're not a garlic grower, you can find these at a farmer's market. The farmers want these off of their garlic because they want a crop to cure. The same with my garlic. I want a crop that I can save for the winter. So you can see these at farmers markets. They aren't expensive. The farmers know it's a byproduct, but that it is something edible. So we're putting them into the food processor, just like that. They will become a little bit minced up. All right, now I have my scapes. I was going to say scallions. My scapes, minced up, very fine. When I lift that, I can smell the garlic. You would think that this was fresh minced garlic. It's delicious. So I am going to put this into a measuring cup. Now, could I put the butter in there and mix it up? I probably could. I'm afraid it'll make my butter a little bit too soft and difficult to work with. What I'm looking for, and this is a small patch. I think I may have 10 heads of garlic, bulbs of garlic growing in my garden. And so I need 1 cup for this, and this is what I got. You won't get it again, though. The scapes grow once. And it smells delicious. I wish you could be here to smell it. It smells just like I've cut fresh garlic. Now, some people put a little bit of onion in here to give it more, like a little bit of a scallion flavor, but I don't think I want to. I really just want the garlic. So I have about 1 cup in there, and that's what I need. And then I need 1 cup of butter. You can use unsalted butter, you can use salted. I prefer to use salted because I know I'm using this as a cooking base, never as a baking. So 1 cup is going to be about half of that 1 pound in Ontario. So I'm going to just take 1 cup. All right. Looks excessive. Remember, this is going to be used as a 1 disc use.
Salted, did you say?
This is salted butter, but you could use unsalted. I would prefer if you used unsalted then to add some salt. All right, and a little bit of lemon juice. That's only going to help preserve again, or it's going to just give it a nice little bit of a tart flavor. So I'm putting a half a lemon squeezed into there. Now we can mash it up. Now I've got my butter in there, I've got the lemon juice, I've got the escapes. I'm going to take a spatula and I'm just going to work that in. Your butter softened a little bit. Try to make it room temperature. Don't do it in the microwave and then do this. If you don't think ahead and you think, oh, I'm going to make that, it releases the oils and doesn't solidify back again. Room temperature is your best bet. Okay, you can see I'm starting to get a really nice butter, and if you don't use 1 cup to 1 cup, you're just not going to have enough flavor in it. Notice I'm not putting any salt in this. There is salt in this butter, and that way you can control the salt when you go to make your dish. All right, I want to make sure that it's evenly dispersed with the butter. All right, here's how we're going to put it in the freezer and get it prepared for use later on. I am going to use, you could use parchment paper, you can put wax paper. Not everybody keeps this in their kitchen anymore. I'm going to put this in the middle of my parchment paper or wax paper. The smell is really nice. What a good use of something that just has to come off your plant, or else you're not going to have a plant and you can use it. I've used this in an omelet in the morning, and it's enough It gives you just a nice hint of garlic. And I think that when I freeze this like this and I let it settle for a few weeks before I use it, the garlic gets a nicer flavor throughout the butter. Okay, so now you see what I've got here, and I'm going to proceed to shape it in a disc. Might seem like it's a little on the messy side, but you've got to get that disc happening. There, or that roll. I'm trying to make a jelly roll. You want to make sure that on the ends that you're tucking the ends in. I'm going to seal it. When this is frozen, this wax paper or parchment paper will come off really simple. Make sure you've got an even roll. You want to do this just to make sure there's no air in it either, because when you cut those discs off, you don't want a bubble. And there you have it, folks. I have made a scape butter to be used throughout the winter. This is a lot. This is 1 cup. I'm going to be maybe cutting off a 1/4 inch to use in a dish, maybe more, but I've got quite a bit here that this will last me all winter. So there you have it. You have some scape compound butter, usable in a lot of things, and like I said, saute vegetables. And over there I've got the roasted dollops that are going to be frozen. I've got garlic to be used in a moment's notice. I want to talk to you about what's coming up in Bobcaygeon. Sure, you're not here, but I want to share the experience of a fall fair, a county fall fair. So coming up on Thursday, the fair judges are ready to receive any submissions, and I want to unleash my prowess on this county fall fair. So what I'm submitting, and I bring this to you because you might be not involved in county fairs and fall fairs. You might be living in the middle of the city and you think this is just a mythical thing that happens, but they happen. And so I am going to be submitting corn relish. The way it's judged at a fair is 50% appearance and 50% flavor. So the way that it's jarred is just as important as the way that it tastes. And you may think, well, it should taste, that should be more important. It's not. So, you can see up close, if you use this camera, you can see that I have some red peppers placed strategically in this jar. And a corn relish, and there's my label, a corn relish is, to be used on meats and sandwiches. It's exactly that. It's made with corn. There's a little bit of mustard seed in it, and those little bits, you can see there's celery seed, that's important too. And those little bits of red pepper make the difference. And then I'm also going to be submitting in this great jar, so I thought appearance is important. This is a ginger orange marmalade. Again, there goes my ginger, I love it. And so I'm submitting this. I'm also going to be submitting some ginger snaps, and you may chuckle at that, like ginger snaps, wow, that's not a really tough thing to make. But listen, there's people all over the Kawartha Lake submitting ginger snaps. They keep the submissions simple because you have to come up with something that's going to make it really stand out. I'm also going to be submitting a bundt cake. Simple, you say. Yes, but 50% appearance, 50% taste. So I'm going to be putting it in a Nordic ware bundt pan that has divots in it, and it's beautiful, but it's not just an average bundt cake. It's going to have some pumpkin, ginger, and in the middle, ginger again, and in the middle of it, it's going to have a cream cheese filling so that when the judge slices it, it's going to be, oh, there's something in the middle. Bundt cake, how many people can make it? I need to make mine stand out. It matters to me. And this is what I'm looking to win, is some red ribbons at this fair. I can't wait. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to be submitting these on Thursday to the judges. I'm going to let you know next Sunday how I fared, and you will hear nothing about it. We'll pretend like it didn't happen if I don't win. If I do win, we're going to be making those dishes online. If you don't hear anything, next Sunday, winner, winner, don't say anything about it because we won't be talking about it. Now, we did talk about these community cookbooks. There's our winner, winner. We're a little past our time, but I wanted to just bring this to your attention because these cookbooks are something that you may have used. Bruiser, have you ever used one of these? Or maybe you used it and didn't know it was called the community cookbooks. These were designed in the 1800s to share, before Pinterest, before Google. These were to share recipes. I'm going to talk about these again next week because we're a little bit over our time. If you come across one of these, bring it to the stream, and it's what it is. It's a cookbook that, let's find a really good one. This one is from 1979, and what you see is recipes. Of course, they're going to be good recipes, and you'll see somebody's name in it. Oh, I hit my mic, sorry. You'll see somebody's name, and that's the person who submitted it. Think about how important it was of what you submitted. And like if I win, you know, like these kind of ribbons, I put those into these in the day. We don't do that anymore now because you can Google whatever you want. These have become a little bit of a vintage source of historical time and place for cooking. Anyway, thank you for showing up today. Thank you for enjoying the space that we had. And let's see, you are all submitted into the draw today for the Ninja Air Fryer, which is December 18th. Stick around for all of my streams because that will be a cool thing to win. Now, if you win and you write to me and say, you know what, I already got an air fryer, we'll find an appliance that you need of equal value, and it will be sent directly to your house via Amazon. Matt, thanks for showing up. Bruiser, thanks for showing up. Thanks for the people who came to the raid. Thistle and Oak, I see you're still working. Matt says he needs an air fryer. Matt, we've got Matt's friend. Matt says he needs an air fryer, so he has to show up. And Matt is always on my social media, so that's great. Thank you so much, everybody. So for now, this kitchen is closed.